Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And as you can see, we are actually building another family home today. And this one is very special to me, and I don't really know why, but I just liked the family dynamic that I came up with for this particular house. So the children in this family are siblings by blood, and what was really wonderful is that even though they ended up in foster care, they were adopted by the same couple. So essentially they ended up in the same foster home, or maybe one of them ended up there as a foster child and they were like, oh my gosh, we want to adopt this child. They are a member of our family. And then they learned that said child had a sibling in foster care, and they were like, well, we can't allow you to continue being split up. We can't allow your sibling to be in foster care and you get adopted. So we are adopting both of you. We are going to be a proper family. And I just really loved the idea. It warmed my freaking heart and I went with it. So as you can see, we're working on the exterior right now, and it's a pretty decently sized home. And fun fact, I made a garage, and it's actually a garage. I didn't make it a faux garage, which is pretty weird for me. I usually make, if I use like the garage door, like that mural garage door or the one from Debug or something, I typically make it a faux garage. I might put like the living room or the kitchen in there, but nope, not this time. I actually made it a garage, which was kind of fun to do. I don't make enough garages, so I was really excited about that. And I thought the shape of the house was a bit unique. Not super unique, but there are just some different jutting out pieces, and it just looks almost a little unbalanced, which I kind of enjoyed. I don't really know, but it was a house that I really liked, and I didn't go crazy on a lot of the decorations on the home. Like, I think I put flower boxes on maybe off camera. I'm asking these things with like huge question marks above my head because I built this home, oh my gosh, I think 4 weeks ago now. And I forgot about it. I forgot that I had the footage like rendered and ready to go. I forgot that I had pieced everything together in my editing software. And I was like, how could I have forgotten this? I loved this house, and I spent probably a solid 2 or 3 days really honing in on what I wanted the interior to look like. The exterior itself took me like a day or two to figure out. So it was a labor of love, but I really liked how it came out. So I was like really excited when I found the footage, but also I was mad at myself because how dare I even forget about this house? I loved it so much, but as you can see, the landscaping is pretty much coming together at this point. So they do have a little bit of a backyard. I can't recall off the top of my head exactly what we put back there, but we don't do it till the end of the build anyway. And now we're on to the interior, figuring out the floor plan, which is very similar to another build that I have done kind of recently, really just in the regard that it is an open floor plan downstairs. So the garage is of course its own separate thing, and I actually sunk the garage a bit because I thought that having like the 2 steps from that side door into the garage was completely realistic. I was really excited about that, but the open floor plan really applies to the kitchen, the dining, and the living space, because I've mentioned this in a couple of builds at this point that I am actually trying to do more open floor plans. And that is really just because I don't do them and I feel the need to section everything off. So it's going outside of my comfort zone and trying new things. But the first thing that we do work on is the garage. So there's a woodworking table here, a couple of the trash cans or the trash bins, and there's a few like shelving things that look like garage storage. I mean, this one from Strangerville looks a little bit apocalyptic, so we're just going to try to ignore that. But I used a debug car here as well, just to show, of course, that it is a garage. And then there's actually a litter box in this build too, so I was imagining that this family had a cat or two. I can't recall if I put the food bowl dishes. I think I did. There's always something for some pet that I forget to put in a build. So even for the cats, I don't know if I put a scratching post in either. That is to be determined. We'll see if that actually gets put into this build. But I also put a chess table out here on the front porch, even though the front porch is a little bit small, and with the flower boxes, it does look a bit cramped with that chess table there, but I think it functions perfectly fine. That's what matters, but I think it looked okay. And then there's a couple of chairs here by the front door, and this door too. I always forget about this door from Seasons. I don't know why, because I'm always sitting there thinking, okay, I want a front door that has windows on each side, like windows attached to it on each side, because that is essentially the standard door that I see in most new construction houses in my area. Like, they all look the same, which Some people like, some people don't. But yeah, I just really love the doors that have windows kind of attached to them, paneled on each side. So I was really excited to use that door. And I also put a basketball hoop out on the garage so the kids can play basketball. I'm thinking at least one of them is really into sports, but I'm not sure which one. I also don't know if it's like 2 girls or 2 boys or a boy and a girl. It doesn't matter. As always, it really doesn't matter at all. The room can be for any child that you want it to be for. But yeah, I'm not sure what the siblings are, but I know one of them's really into basketball. And this is going to be the living room where I, yet again, use the paranormal couches, but this time in the white swatch because I thought that the pops of yellow and that teal matched perfectly with those curtains from Parenthood that I decided to use. And I don't know, it was enough of a pop of color without it being completely overwhelming. It was a bit challenging to find a rug that I thought would be neutral enough, I think, for this space. And I also mixed a few different wood tones, which is something I'm trying to get more comfortable with. I've been doing it in a few builds recently, but I'm trying to get a lot more comfortable with mismatching things that still look good together. I also put a shelf here with some of this artwork that came with Eco Lifestyle, the leaning artwork, because I absolutely adore it. I wish we had more artwork like that. And then there's also this coffee table from Parenthood, which I was glad to be able to use because a lot of coffee tables in The Sims, we've talked about it, they're very, very big. And this is one of the bigger ones that I always want to use, but I never feel like I have the space to use it. So I was stoked to use it here. And of course they have the fireplace, the bookshelf in the corner that your Sims can access. My Sim had no issues trying to get to that bookshelf, and the TV above the fireplace, which I thought was a really cozy little area. And it's nice because I used a different wallpaper as well as I think an island that kind of extends out from the kitchen to separate the spaces. And that I'm noticing is pretty much the only way that I know how to do an open plan and still separate spaces appropriately. Like, I don't know how else to do it. I suppose I could use half walls and columns and spindles and stuff like that, but I did not get that adventurous. So now we're going to be working on the kitchen. And at first I was going to use these Parenthood countertops, but I actually cut really soon because I was getting a bit overwhelmed not being able to find the appropriate color scheme that I wanted to go for, if I wanted it to be a little bit more dark or if I wanted it to be lighter. And as I was looking at the kitchen, I just was thinking, man, I don't like this. Like, I don't like it at all. I tried to use the new bar stools we got with the most recent update, and it didn't work for me. So I ended up changing up the swatch of those base game countertops and going with my tried and true. These cabinets and countertops from base game are my favorite. This swatch I think is my favorite, but I ended up going with this. I want to say I keep this blue tile for the kitchen. Again, really awkward to have the cabinet cutting off the tile compared to the wallpaper there. I didn't use, I think, a column to separate it, which is okay. But I also put a dining table in the middle of the kitchen instead of a faux island, which I think makes this build very different than the other one with a similar layout. I don't know. I'm very rambly. So my goal today, you guys, I think I tweeted about this yesterday. So I'm pre-recording, we're going to put that out there, pre-recording as always. And I think my goal today was to do 5 voiceovers for different builds that I had ready to go. I was like, you know what? I want to get ahead. I am feeling really good. I'm feeling productive. Let's go ahead, get these voiceovers out of the way, get things uploaded to YouTube. You're going to be 2 months ahead of your own schedule. And then I recorded one and I was like, wow, I'm exhausted. Like that is pretty much how I feel. I was like, wow, I'm exhausted. And I feel like my voice already sounds like garbage. So now I'm recording this one and I'm at a loss for words sometimes. And if it feels as though I'm like, or not feels, if it sounds as though I'm a little nasally, it's because my throat is just very dry right now because I've been talking a lot. I've also been on the phone a lot. Like there's just been a lot going on. I've been talking more than I have in like a year and a half in quarantine. And I am just sitting here like, wow, I think I'm actually losing my voice. It's happening. So I'm sounding a little off. Just forgive me. But the kitchen is pretty much coming together at this point. I'm adding a few different decorative items here and there. I did end up putting a food bowl for the cat or cats, which I'm proud of myself for. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of nice because there are at least 2 island seats. I think your Sims can sit at all of them, but as for eating and sitting at them, I think maybe only 1. But there's at least a dining table, so you don't have to worry about the whole family not being able to sit together, which is really nice. In larger family homes, I want to make sure that they have a dining table that they can all sit together and enjoy their meals, talk about their days. It's really important for that family unit to be able to have meals together like that, at least in my opinion. So I was really excited to be able to do that here, and it just came together. It looked very homey and very cozy and welcoming, which is something I'm always striving for in my builds. And then we work on this front entryway where there is a little side table, a little lamp, and then a couple more sconces, because as I say, sconces save lives. They really do, especially when you're doing base game builds. But there's also an armchair over here, and then that door leads into a bathroom. And now, oh, that was it. So the kids are adopted, right? And there's the two parents. I'm thinking that the parents' room is actually downstairs. I don't know why I had to just rehash how many people are in this family. That was really silly. But I think the parents' room is downstairs because there is this bathroom here. It's a full bathroom. And there's two entrances. There's an entrance from the bedroom and an entrance from the front entryway. And then there's also a door off the kitchen leading to said bedroom. See how it all connects? See, it's like a circle. So I think the parents' room is actually downstairs. I was originally thinking that maybe there had been a room upstairs that had a double bed for two adult Sims as well. So at first I was like, maybe I made this for grandparents. I can't really recall. And I guess that's still yet to be seen. And this is what you get for filming something, forgetting about it, and then trying to do a voiceover. This is just, I bit myself on the butt. I did this to myself, but I really liked the room downstairs because it was so warm and cozy. I think that this swatch of that bed from Cats and Dogs, I want to say, is my favorite swatch. A lot of the other ones are really bright and a little bit more energized, but that one was very just warm and calming, and I just really, really adore it. And they also have an armchair in here because when I can't think of what to put in a room or a corner of a room, you get an armchair. Like, you get an armchair and you get an armchair, or you get a plant and you get a plant. That's typically what happens. But I'm just cluttering up the dresser here, and then we move on to the upstairs. And I do believe that up here there is an office as well as the kids' room. So the kids do share a room, which may not be ideal as they get older. Kids like their privacy. But for now, there is the ability for the parents to have an office upstairs, which I thought was really nice. And there's a full bathroom upstairs for the kids as well, which is very convenient, as well as a half bathroom. So at least if there are, let's say, 4 Sims in this household and 3 of them have to pee really badly, there's going to be available bathrooms, which is cool. It was a little bit weird making this a half bath only because the mirror couldn't go right above the sink. It had to go kind of to the side. But oddly enough, in my apartment complex, in my bathroom, I do have a mirror in front of my sink, so I guess it doesn't really match up. But there's also a little like medicine cabinet off to the side that has a mirror on it, so I feel like I'm always surrounded by mirrors, which is weird. But that was my thought process, and that's the only reason why I thought it was okay. So the mirror's on the wall, so don't yell at me, but it is. And then this is the little landing area where there really isn't too much, just a console table, a few decorations, and probably another armchair because clearly going upstairs would probably exhaust me at this point because I am sedentary and working from home. So I would need a chair when I went up the stairs to freaking relax. And then off to the left-hand side is the office, and the office is actually kind of shared. So there is a computer desk as well as a bookcase, but there's also the scouting. It's actually kind of a display. I was going to say the scouting table, but there's kind of like the display. So maybe one of the kids is in scouts, and there's also a creativity table for one of the kids. So maybe one of them's really into sports, one of them's really creative and artistic. I don't really know, but I finished off their bathroom real quick, and then we move on to said office, which I've now talked about. So what's the point? But here is the computer desk that I decided to use. I really love this desk from Cats and Dogs. I try to resist using it more often than not because I would likely overuse it, but I gave in here. I used it in this build because I thought it was perfect. Now for this bookcase, your Sims likely won't be able to access that one because it is kind of tucked behind that desk, but there is an accessible bookcase downstairs, just to reiterate. And then there is this little cute creativity table. I think I end up keeping that little armchair as well, so the kids can hang out with one of the parents if they're in the office. They kind of made this their own little space outside of their bedroom, which I thought was really nice. I know not every parent would really want that. I am not a parent, and I am not one that has had to deal with my kids being home during the pandemic, so I could imagine this kind of shared space may not exactly be what you want, but at least you can keep your eye on them, right? And then there's also a little love seat over here, as well as a little end table with a lamp, just to kind of have another seating area. Everyone in this house is exhausted. They're sick of walking. They're sick of going up and down the stairs, and they just get exhausted by the time they get to one floor or the other. So that's what I'm going with. I don't know why I'm so adamant about this, but now we are working on the kids' room, and there are some darker tones going on in this room. The furniture, at least like the bed frames, as well as the side tables, the dresser, stuff like that, all of it is this black swatch of the wood, which I really liked. But I like that there are a lot of pops of color too, because there is this really bright yellow comforter that each of the kids have on their beds. And then there's just tons of decorations everywhere. There's posters and toys and weird pops of color here and there because kids' rooms don't have to match, and that's what we love about them. And there's also just this softer blue for the wallpaper as well, or technically I guess it would be paint, not wallpaper. But I thought that was really, really relaxing as well. And then I used this little shell from Base Game. I love it so much. I really want to make a like toddler or kids room based off of this theme, like this outdoor theme, because of this mountain swatch. I think it is so cute, and I always forget about it because I'm looking at all the other ones like the dinosaurs and the cars. But the mountain one is adorable, and I really want to make a room that's themed off of that. So if I don't do it soon, I'm going to ask you guys to remind me, but the timing might be off. I'm recording this on March 16th. I'm going to put that out there. You're probably not going to see this until the end of April, to my knowledge. So just remind me, because I will forget. I have the memory of a goldfish, I swear. But we are just now picking out a few different mismatched rugs to kind of tie in the same color schemes, but really make this fun and energetic. And there's a toy box at the end of one of the beds. They have, I think, a little pet fish. I don't know what they would have named said fish, so that's something I want to think about because I think it adds to their story. They also have a Void Critter station, whatever it's called, so they can play Void Critters, so maybe they're really into those. They've got some wall decals and this little cute bookshelf from, I want to say My First Pet Stuff. I could be wrong. It could be cats and dogs, but I think it's My First Pet Stuff. And then they just have a few other decorations on the walls that are just really cute and adorable and kid-friendly, and really just tie in the fact that this is now their permanent home. Like, this is their family, this is their room, and they don't have to pack up their things and go to the next like foster home or something. That's what I really wanted to drive home with the room too, is I wanted it to seem as though the kids went wild with the decorations that they wanted. They were just like, I want this and this and this, and I really am into this. Can I put up this poster? And the parents were like, make this your space. Feel at home. This is your home now. And it just, it almost makes me want to tear up. I really don't know what like drove me to fulfill this idea, but I'm just so glad that I did. And now we're working on the backyard. So they do have an outside dining table out here on the porch, and the porch is a decent size, but I think I put a grill there as well. I can't rightly recall. They also have a few planter boxes out here, and I think there's also a swing set, which is something I put in almost every family home at this point because I'm sick of the monkey bars from Base Game, and I just always want a swing set. I think it's so much more fun than monkey bars, and probably more realistic for someone to get in their backyard for their kids compared to the monkey bars, so that's my rationale. But we are pretty much almost at the end of the build, so I hope you guys did enjoy this one. Thanks for bearing with me as always through another rambly voiceover, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!
Driving down the road that I grew up on once again. It's when I pass your door, the memories come back again. Pictures of us flooding back just like a wave. Makes me wonder what happened, what you're up to today. Remember when we stole your mother's car, we drove for days. Teenagers with too many feelings and rage. We were higher than the ceiling, middle fingers to the sky. I remember thinking if I only could stop the time. Way back when we didn't care what they said. People could stare, I didn't give a damn, 'cause I was being next to you. Way back when we didn't care what they said. People could stare, I didn't give a damn, 'cause all I needed was my friend. Way back when, way back when, way back when. Remember when my father taught us how guitar, and we started up a band in my garage. We thought our dream would take us so far, but after a week or so it all just fell apart. But we were higher than the ceiling, middle fingers to the sky. I remember thinking if I only could stop the time.